Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Monday. Man, it's hard to believe September 14th. This month is almost halfway over. Again, I hope you had a great weekend. The markets were a little bit mixed on Friday. We'll see where they end up this morning as we get started. Hey, folks, now's the time to get your financial x-ray. Make sure you give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your financial x-ray to make sure you know how much risk you have in your current portfolio from an independent financial source. Again, that's 863-382-0037. Hey, looking forward to our conversation today. Not much in the way of earnings front, but we always come up with something interesting to talk about, and today will be no different.
Point seven. Richie there. It's you are. I am. We are. See, I can still conjugate. I've been out of school 50 years, but I can do that, John. It's time to check in on your money, which we can also do especially easily when we've got the resources of Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services on the line with us as well. Do it every morning about this time so you aren't surprised as the week progresses. Phillip, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Dave. Hey, doing well today. I hope your weekend was good. Mine was kind of a little bit relaxing, so it was kind of nice, but it's hard to believe that we are almost halfway through the month of September, getting close to ending up the third quarter of the year.
Absolutely. It's amazing. Yeah, my weekend was mostly lawn work. I'm trying to rejuvenate my lawn, and that involves an awful lot of back work. So I'm coming to the conclusion that old guys are not built for manual labor.
Well, hey, I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm just figuring it out now. Set the table for the morning to begin it out if you didn't hear about Friday. The Dow actually got a recovery up on Friday, almost 0.5% by 131 points up. Standard & Poor's benefited from that to a certain extent. The 500 was up by about 0.05% up, $1.78. And NASDAQ, I got to believe, Phillip, is still having a little bit of that SoftBank hangover because it was down another 66 points. We start out the morning at 10,853 on the NASDAQ exchange. I'm still thinking we're just looking at the shock value of knowing that SoftBank was, manipulating the market sounds old draconian and everything, but they were a bigger player than anybody expected, and that has people a little fidgety, don't you think?
Well, that's one part of it, Dave. The other part is a technical analysis. So I read an article that the NASDAQ crossed below the 50-day moving average, which for technical guys is kind of some indicator. So I found that interesting. That's why I think maybe we're getting a bounce this morning on the NASDAQ.
They see you buying that, plus a whole boatload of merger and acquisition news that's coming up. We're kind of in between earnings seasons. There's nothing really exciting on the company front, but boy, oh boy, are they buying each other. Probably the big news that we're going to hear about on the top of the hour stuff all week is the Trump administration has been saying they're going to ban TikTok unless somebody from the U.S. of A. buys it. One of the old dinosaurs of the tech industry is going to get real current. Assuming it gets approved, Oracle might buy TikTok. What a concept.
It is. So, but they are the ones that looks like ByteDance. They've chosen Oracle to be their partner to buy TikTok. So leaving Microsoft out in the cold for this deal. But it was a good thing for Oracle's stock price too. It's up getting close to 7.5% this morning.
I was going to say they're on the top of my big winner list this morning in the pre-market trading. Oracle has always fascinated me because I've been a tech geek way back to the old CPM days of computers, and Oracle was always a mini computer company, which is the one segment of the market that basically just hit the skids and disappeared. But they've kind of reinvented themselves over the past 10 years, and now they're all of a sudden a really trendy player, aren't they?
They are. They've developed some infrastructure and some platforms and some of those things that have continued to be useful in the business sector. And so this addition of TikTok you're right, it's going to kind of catapult them, right, to kind of head of the class when it comes to some of the social media stuff now and the tech side.
Absolutely. The other big, I guess it's kind of tech that comes under the heading of merger and acquisitions that might get some news coverage this week. The old prepaid cell phone line was TracFone. Now, there's about 75 different prepaid cell phone opportunities in the world today, but TracFone is still there. Evidently, they ended up getting to a price where Verizon found them interesting, so all of a sudden, Big Red is going to buy the granddaddy of the prepaid cell phone industry now. That I find interesting as well.
They are, and I do too, and it's a pretty big deal. It's like a $6.9 billion deal, and let's face it, TracFone is probably, if not the start of the pay-as-you-go cell phone service, it's got to be one of the two. As one of the guys that really started that service, and so Verizon stepping in and buying that, I don't know if they're just buying it because they want the customers, they're buying customers, because I'm sure that Verizon, like AT&T, already has some prepaid service out there available for folks in the marketplace.
I know Verizon's tried their own prepaid service in-house, and it hasn't gone off that terribly big. TracFone markets itself under its own name, plus 3 or 4 other names, too, so that's a big chunk of the prepaid cellular business that all of a sudden going to be in-house with Verizon. And like you say, it might be buying a boatload of new customer bases as well, but it is a big deal money-wise, though, isn't it?
It is, and Verizon's getting a bump out of that this morning. They're up about 1.25% before the market opens up.
Absolutely. We got some other names that are buying other names as well. One of them we've been talking about a lot in the COVID-19 business. Gilead, evidently, they're buying another supplier in the same line of work, huh?
Well, they're buying Immunomedics, which they have some cancer treatments evidently out there that are worth some money. And Gilead's paying $15 billion in cash. Plus more, because they're buying it at $21 billion or $88 a share. I got to tell you, for Immunomedics, it's a big deal. They're up 105% this morning. They closed on Friday at $42.25. Right now, they're at $86.85. How would you like to wake up to that on Monday morning?
I sure wish I'd bought that stock at $1.50 a share. I don't see it on my list. What do the Gilead shareholders think of it? What's happening to their stock?
No, let's look real quick. They
weren't
quite as impressed.
Yeah.
They're down 1.4% this morning.
And that's zero sum to a certain extent, isn't there?
It is. Now, let me tell you that this probably plays in a little bit, is that they're ex-dividend today. So that means people that own it today are going to get a dividend. So sometimes that plays into the stock price too on the day that happens.
Okay. It's an interesting mess. Like I said, when you said one was way up, I just figured the other had to be off, but it seems to always work that way, doesn't it?
A lot of times it does, though. You know, Gilead was up almost 1.8% on Friday.
Okay. Then the numbers came out and the stockholders said, oops.
Yeah.
Another big tech name came out. The geeks recognize right off the bat because they're so big with the video cards that are hot these days. NVIDIA, huh?
Yes, NVIDIA is a big deal. They've been beat up here lately in their stock price, but they are getting a little help today. They are buying another chip manufacturer that's owned by SoftBank called ARM Holdings. They're going to buy the whole company for $40 billion, and they're going to finance it with cash and stock. So a big deal for NVIDIA, and they're trading up about a little over 5.75% this morning.
ARM Holdings, that's got to be a reduced instruction set chip maker. That's going to be big.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they exactly do and what kind of chips they actually make, but it's helping NVIDIA today, that's for sure.
My bet is the company has the license for the reduced instruction set video cards. That'll end up affecting that'll end up affecting the cell phone and tablet industry big time. Yeah, that is a big deal.
Yep, gotcha. So some good news. Like this is M&A Monday, right?
Yeah.
Which used to be a common thing, but it's not been so big lately. But we're seeing it kick back up with companies that have a lot of cash and their stock prices have appreciated a lot here. They're using that combination to pick up some companies right now.
Understood. Other things going on around the world on the commodity side of the fence, when we get to that, folks are going to say, holy cow, it's cheap out there. In addition to the fact that we aren't using as much oil, the OPEC countries got together over the weekend and issued a demand forecast report, and they expect it to go down considerably, which certainly isn't helping the price of oil or the price of gasoline, is it?
No, it's really not. They expect that between now and the end of the year, another 400,000 barrels of oil per day will not be used. So they're seeing that as a reduction, and that's putting pressure on oil prices this morning.
Absolutely. And the middle of September, one other bit of company news that comes out. Apple always has a big event the middle of September. Their big event is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be done virtually online, and everybody that hasn't been following it is going to go, oh no, they probably, and nobody knows for sure, but they probably will not be introducing the new iPhone tomorrow because of all the production difficulties in China. That's going to make kind of an interesting change in Apple stock tomorrow.
It will be to see what they come out with, what they're going to talk about. One of the things that I did see leak outs from somewhere was they're going to talk about 5G. I don't know if it's 5G in their new phone that's coming out, but they were going to talk about 5G tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays and what part of that they talk about.
It will, because the only thing that we really are pretty sure of is we're going to see the Apple Watch 6 and probably a new line of iPads. But the rumor, anyway, has it that they will not be introducing the phone per se. But if they've got 5G on the horizon, at the very least on the agenda, they're probably at the very least going to tell us what kind of 5G service we're going to see on the new iPhones.
Yeah, that's probably it. It'll be worth, if you got time to stick your head into the screen and see what's happening.
Always interesting to watch at the very least. Resetting the table for the morning. Mixed day on Friday based upon NASDAQ still being in the hinky mode at the moment. Dow and the S&P were both up 45 minutes before we start trading. Phillip, how are we looking this morning?
Dave, we're looking good this morning, man. We are green across the indexes. We've got the Dow up almost 1%. The S&P 500 up 1.25%, and the NASDAQ up 1.5%. So I definitely cannot complain about the way the indexes are going to start off the day. But hey, we've had that before, right? I mean, Thursday and Friday, we had great days starting out, and they all kind of fell apart before the end of the day was over. So just because they open up great doesn't mean they're going to finish that way. We hope they do, but there's no guarantee. And then we go to the commodity side of the game. Silver and gold are up too. Silver's up almost 1.4%, and gold's up 0.75%. Like you and I were talking a minute ago, crude oil is not doing quite so well, down 1.1% to $36.92 a barrel right now.
That's downright smarting level for the oil patch folks over in Texas and the Bakken areas. Looking at world markets, by and large, Asia not unhappy with our futures market. They were all up over the evening hours, and they closed in green ink. European markets also showing a modest amount of green ink midway through their day. Phillip, it's up, it's down, and like you said, sometimes the morning looks great and it turns to poop as the day continues. That's called instability, and you don't want it in your retirement account. How do I find you to find out where it is in mine?
You know, Dave, it is an opportunity for folks out there to get an independent review of their portfolio to find out how much risk they're really sitting on. Give us a call for our financial x-ray, 863-382-0037. And then check out our website, statlerfinancial.com. Follow us on Facebook, where we repost this morning show every day. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730.
And back here again tomorrow morning on Light FM, same time. Phillip, thank you so very much. You have a good day, okay?
All right, man. You too. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you much. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it. If you like what we're doing here, please like our page on Facebook and share this video with your friends and family. Have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow.